2000 for our Formula Renault Championship finale. So this is round 8 of our Formula Renault Championship. And like I said, we come into this this round 8 with a good gap in the standings. As we expected, Bruce Law being at the top of the shop in our Formula Renault standings, as is in most of our championships so far this season, but not by such a large margin in the Formula Renaults. So as we see with following around the track here with Fast AF Gamer, Fast AF Gamer is currently second in our championship with 195 points, so trailing Bruce by around 30 points, just a couple of points less actually. So it does look like Bruce will have wrapped this one up, minus any severe points penalties that he gets. It's just a case of Bruce finishing this one out, I believe. But Matthew will still be looking to perform well. I know he has been doing some testing for this track. I know he is capable of quick times, so he'll be looking to try and perform well here and get himself another championship win secured, and a further upset for Bruce hopefully. So we'll try and get over to our standings. I do apologise, a little bit of an update for you this morning. Normally you would have your host Murphy GBR with you. Unfortunately Murphy's got a few technical difficulties this morning, and I will be your host for the evening, so down to one commentator for this morning for the Formula Renaults. But I will do my very best to try and bring you all the action in just the same usual fashion that me and Murphy do when we get in the box together. So just coming into this round, I'll just give you a quick rundown of the current standings coming into this this final race at Laguna Seca. In the top we have Bruce Law with 222 points. Then we have Fast AF Gamer, or Matthew as he's known to his friends, with 195 points. And then in third place we have Taijo, or Spectre as he's known to his mates. Taijo just coming out of the pits there in the blue and white coloured Civic livery. Then following that we have Rock G. Rock G currently in the same blue or turquoise and grey Vazmac liveries as Bruce Law. Following up Rock G in 5th place is Dirk Diggler. Dirk Diggler currently sat in our pits. Dirk Diggler has 147 points. Coming up in 6th place is a absent driver that we've got from the championship today. I believe he's otherwise currently indisposed, and that is Luna Zodiac. Luna Zodiac currently coming in with 75 points and now got leaderboard. Following that is the next absent driver. So we have Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is again otherwise indisposed for the final race of the championship, so won't be picking up any points today. Sub-Zero comes in 7th place with 70 points. Following that we've got our two relatively new drivers to the Formula Renault Championship. We have Green Gaming and Tibev. So Tibev currently is 7th on our standings with a 122 with his lap times. Oh, sorry, apologies. He's third in our standings with a 110 on his lap times. As you can see him there in the red and yellow livery of the Schriftitzer. If that's me pronouncing that correctly. And that bright luminous yellow coloured livery there. So Tibev actually doing a bit of a wonder entrance here into Flux Motorsport. Recent driver that's joined us. Has seen him coming within the podium finishes in a couple of his races so far. So doing well, slotting right in with the action here at Flux Motorsport. And Tibev currently has 15 points on our leaderboard and sits just in ahead of Green Gaming, who isn't actually joining us at the moment, but could well jump in before the end of quali. So we don't know that he's not arriving. He could yet still turn up before quali finishes, so it might be in a bit of a rushed fashion. So 12 minutes left in our qualifying session of a 20-minute session that we usually have for our Formula Renaults. Just taking a look on board with Bruce Law here. As you can see him on his, it looks like a cold lap as he's warming his tyres up there. So, not that he'll have to warm them up too much, I believe, around the Laguna Seca. Tyres here will be punished, difficult track, lots and lots of sharp corners, lots of elevation changes, and the heat is usually punishing. So, clear weather we expect here today at Laguna Seca. So, it being a late September race, it should try and keep the weather down a couple of degrees. It won't be as hot as it's been recently, but it's still considerably hotter than some of the other tracks that we run throughout the calendar of the Formula Renault. So, guys, we'll have to be taking care of the tyres. Again, always been a feature throughout the Formula Renaults this season. Tyre management and fuel management for these guys make a massive difference. The amount of pit stops that you need to do will add roughly a minute or two to your average race pace or your total race time. So guys have got conscious of that and don't like making pit stops wherever they can avoid it, they will. So Bruce should see coming through as he takes his hot lap into that really fast left-hander. Made it stick there. It goes a little bit wide on the what is almost a throw-in, that dog-legged left-hander there. So it's the corkscrew, and from the runner wanting to lift the front end of the corkscrew, very difficult to try and get all four wheels down in contact with the floor at the same time as he comes past Fast AF Gamer, and a little bit wide from Bruce there. So won't be setting in another quick lap this time round, but currently at the top of the shop with a 1:08.8. And our next fastest lap currently being set by Fast AF Gamer with a 1:09.1. So these two guys here currently out on grid, following each other around and following each other around within the championship standings as well. So around 30 points difference, just over 30 points difference between Fastaz and Bruce, and we don't expect that gap to close up today. Technically it is possible. Fastaz could actually still win this if Bruce doesn't pick up any points or potentially gets a penalty. That could see Matthew catapult in front of him, but as we've come to expect with Bruce, he'll finish well, if not finish the race entirely, but doesn't fail to finish a race and hasn't failed to finish a race this season. Just one disconnection affecting him. So Tibby in that bright yellow livery there, currently in 4th place. So again, Tibby, a new driver, only recently joined us, doing well so far in his current championship commitments. He's made commitments across the board, I believe, so features in all our championships at the moment. Tibby currently setting in 1:10s. No, he's a little bit quicker than that. Seen he's doing a little bit quicker in the practice sessions. So not currently hitting the best times that he can do. As is that rock Jeep we see him going past there. It could well have been the TTV Giacomo, a new driver that's joining us for his first race, I believe, in the Formula Renaults. So in the black and white with the red stripe livery there. So Giacomo putting in some good times here, 1:09.6. I know he has been doing considerable amounts of testing, trying to get himself prepared and ready for the championship, albeit on the last race of the championship. The commitment these guys make, they still take it seriously. They still want to perform well, and obviously they don't want to be creating any issues for the guys that are currently fighting for the championship. So 1:09.6 here from Giacomo, and we'll see if he makes an improvement as he comes across the line here. So no improvement from Giacomo on this lap. I think that was Tajo we just saw coming out of the pits. So yeah, Tajo in his Besmona livery, just getting a little bit of the gravel there. He needs to be careful picking up that gravel there as he comes into the first two turns. Turn 3 here at Laguna Seca, one of the quickest turns it is flat out for a lot of the guys through that turn. So picking up gravel or running onto the marbles there can really affect how the car could perform in turns 3 and 4, and they are critical to getting the speed. That looks like it's Giacomo going round in front there. So cold tyres look like they're playing havoc on Giacomo's car there, as we see the braking boards being repositioned by Tajo, should we say. Clearly not happy with where they were placed. So again, this will be a cold lap for Tajo. He's seen warming up his tyres there. He gets himself ready, tries to come around that last corner and give it the full bean. So he'll be hard down on the power now as he comes across the timing line. And we'll try and stick with Tajo here as he tries to put in a full lap. So this will be a hot lap. A little bit wider in the first apex, but a lot of the guys do that. Try to get the cutback for the second apex, where it is a bit of a struggle to get the power down on corner exit. And that is going to invalidate the lap. So looks like Tajo will have to come round again in order to make any improvements on the 1 minute 12. But it does look like we've had Fast As Gamer that's gone top. 108 flat near enough, 108.0. That's possibly the quickest time that I've seen so far. And that's Rock G going round. So Rock G will be looking to return to pits and get that car back out again. But we'll see if we can go on board with Fast As Gamer. So yeah, Fast As Gamer is just coming across the line now. And we'll take a look on board with Fast As Gamer. So yeah, you see the guys come in really wide as they hit that first apex, but do sweep back in again to get the second one. A couple of gears down here, but this should be a flat corner near enough. Yep, just a down gear, so no left off through that corner. That's where the time I think potentially is being made here. If Matt can get that corner right, it leaves the run for the entire next section all the way up this hill, where you're going to be relying on having a few kilometre as an hour difference from the guy next to you to try and get the overtake done up that hill. So being smooth and carrying momentum into that corner, playing to Matt's hands here by the looks of it. And pretty much a flawless lap so far as I can see. So this could be an improvement. We'll keep an eye on the timing boards as he comes over the line. So no improvement there, so 108.0, but not far off. 108.2 is his last lap, so still putting in quick laps so far. Still theoretically the fastest lap on our grid. So let's go back and see if we can catch up with Rock. Rock has yet to put another lap in. He's set an initial lap, but I think that is just really to bed the car in and get it warmed up. I don't think that is his actual his preferred warm lap timings. Again, the guys are in a little bit quicker than the times do indicate towards the back of the grid here in qualifying. So 3 minutes left in our qualifying session. Fast As currently leading, and we're watching Rock G. So no improvement there from Rock as he comes over the line, but this could be his fast lap now, so that may have been an out lap from the pits last time. In fact, I think it was. So again, not the only line as we see Rock go through theoretically turns 1 and 2 though. The hairpin at the end of the straight. The other line is to hug the inside line and try and maintain as much power as possible through the corner. Potentially even getting the tyres to over-rotate and spin up. It does cause tyre degradation, but some of the guys opting for that as a quicker option to try and save time on that first couple of turns. So, but Rock taking the wide line as most guys have here today. So uneventful as we come through. The notorious corkscrew. And another corner that you do have to watch out for, another critical corner on the circuit, is the left-hander just coming out of the corkscrew. A good exit, and managing to get the car to not understeer on the exit of that corner is critical. So yeah, just taking a little bit of time, so maybe he's got some difficulties with that car. It doesn't seem to be getting it to run at full chat at the moment. Okay, as we go on board with CMC. So CMC, the other driver in the Fanatec livery. So you'll be able to see him by the little red mark at the top. So he'll be looking to try and get up out that 120 mark and certainly down into the 110s, and if not below that. So you can be competitive today. Difficult drive for CMC so far in the Formula Renaults. Yet to pick up a point, I believe, in this championship. All points have been picked up, but subsequently lost. So currently is on a 0 value, I believe, for the Formula Renault Championship. But does like an open wheeler. He's very familiar with the IndyCars. So CMC will be wanting to try and get that improved, and he does actually comes over that time line. So 1:11 for CMC. I've seen him in the 110, so he will still be pushing for that lap time to come down, as we've got 30 seconds left in our session. So Tajo currently sat in third as he comes around the last couple of corners. Looks like he's on a quick lap here, so he is pushing. A little bit of over rotation, but nothing to upset his lap too much, and he does make an improvement. So it is a 1:09.040 from Tajo, which sees him securely in third place. And he will get another lap to go around, but I don't think he's going to make that stick. So I think he will be settling for third place here. But Fast House Gamer, by far and wide the best driver on our qualifying session today. 1:08.0 as he comes across the line for the final time. So that is it for our qualifying session. Currently we've got Fast AF Gamer with a 1:08.0 in our top spot, very closely followed by Bruce Law. So these two are a consistent feature in our championship, 1 and 2. But following that, we've got Tajo in third, TTV Giacomo, a new driver to our championship, in fourth, Tibev, again relatively new driver to our championship, coming in fifth, Dirk Diggler in sixth, CMC F1 in seventh, and Rock G in eighth place. So we'll take a couple of minutes just so the drivers can get the race setup applied to cars, have a word with the race engineers, and just make some final adjustments. So be right back with the action very shortly. Just bear with us. And just whilst we're taking the small interlude, I've got the opportunity to tell you about what's coming up next at Flux Motorsport. So as you're already aware, or if you're not, if you're just joining us, this is the final round of our Formula Renault Championship. This is round 8 of this season's championship. And after this season, we will be looking forward to our special event that's coming up soon. Details yet to be announced, but our special event will be getting arranged very shortly, and I believe that will be announced with prizes. So, but do watch this space. Information yet to come out about that one, so keep an eye on the announcements. I'll keep an eye out on our social media channels for full information. But so far left this season, we've still got our final race of the season, which is the GT3 finale. GT3 finale finishes up at Red Bull Ring in Austria. So we do expect our GT3 championship again to be probably topped out by the likes of Bruce Law and Fast AF Gamer. But again, I think not a completely done deal, not yet all tied up. So don't miss out on that. The GT3 race that will be at 8 o'clock UK or GMT +1 this evening. Okay, so it does appear that we're having one or two technical difficulties. We're just having a word with our guys down on the track. We're just waiting to get the lights and cameras all set up down there for the race. So just bear with us one moment or two. So it looks like we've got that technical difficulty sorted, so we will go over to our grid. Yep, that looks like that's sorted, so I do apologise for that technical difficulties. Thank you for bearing with us. So the guys, again, like I said, just making the final adjustments now to the setups as we get ready for the timing boards to come up, and the lights will be displayed for the drivers. Fast AF currently on our pole position here. Close the floor. So just as the guys are getting the cars and setups ready, in terms of pit stops, so this is accelerated tyre work, so the guys will need to come in and get those tyres sorted out, potentially refuel the vehicle. So, but I've heard rumours of even a 3 or 4 stop strategy during this race, so we'll try and keep up with all the pit stop action for you as it happens. So 1 minute and 10 lap times should give us around a 39 to 40 lap race, possibly a couple more. Pit stops are allowing, but the pit stops will be eating up a minute or so of overall race time per pit stop. So the guys will need to account for that when they're setting the fuel and tyre strategies up. As we start to get ready. So the lighting board is up and displayed for the drivers, and we are about to get underway, and they are away, and that's a great start from Bruce Law. So Bruce Law getting the jump on Matthew there on fast hours, and straight around the outside for turn 1. He's straight in the lead, but just behind him is Tajo, and then we've got TTV Giacomo. So TTV Giacomo and Dirk Diggler going toe to toe. Giacomo looking like he's got the better of it, and he's now challenging Matthew for third place. So Tajo and Bruce Law getting a great start. Matthew having to drop back into 3rd place, and TTV Giacomo starting into 4th place with Dirk Diggler behind him, Tibev in 6th, CMC in 7th, and Rock G in 8th place. But it looks like we've got to move down the order. It looks like Rock G and Dirk Diggler are now going side to side. So Dirk Diggler dropping a little bit back down the order there, potentially just losing it on the that quick left-hander that we've got there. But currently we've got Bruce Law, Tajo and Fast AF battling for the lead, with TTV Giacomo right up behind him, but I think Tajo's just got a bit of a squirrely exit there on the exit of the corkscrew, allowing Matthew to close back up to him. So non-stop action here in our first lap at Laguna Seca as they come around the last turn, and a good run from Tajo, allowing him to get a bit of a gap there to Fast AF Gamer. Fast AF Gamer has got Giacomo all in his mirrors. So this is the battle ultimately for 2nd place, as the guys a little bit further down our grid seem to have spaced out a little bit now. CMC and Tibev that we see in the background there just coming into shot. So there is a battle for 5th place going on, and the battle for 7th place is not completely done, as we see Fast AF Gamer going a little wide there. So that quick right-hand turn getting the better of Matthew. He's got a little bit into the kitty litter, and that has allowed Giacomo to come through. So whether Matthew's actually picked up damage there, it does look like that car's considerably slower. Could just be him trying to shake off the gravel that he's got there, but that has allowed Tibbet and CMC to come through. Tibbet, those we see in the luminous yellow livery, now challenging for the for third place on the grid here, as he goes a little wide. 2 tyres on the kit litter on the outside of the penultimate corner. Not too much in terms of lap time slowed down, so 1:11s in terms of race pace here. A couple of seconds slower than qualifying as we expected, but I would expect to see that come down as we continue through our race here. So if you're just joining us, only a few minutes gone, we're in lap 3 and Bruce Law has come from second on the grid to take the pole position at this race. Tyjo currently coming in second place, so Tyjo currently within a second of Bruce Law, so not a million miles away from him, sticking with Bruce Law within a second or so, certainly within DRS and the dirty of Bruce's Vazmac liveried Formula Renault there. Tyjo looking to stick this with him. Again, we've seen Tyjo put some really quick lap times in the qualifying session, so we know he's got a capable car underneath him. But does he have a car that's got the legs to withstand a 45-minute race? So we just try and take a little look further down our grid. Tibbet and Giacomo in third and fourth place, currently again within a second of each other, so this is not a done battle here. Tibbet well within the striking distance range. We'll be trying to utilise the DRS to stick with it. But always a difficult track to try and get overtakes done here at Laguna Seca. We know that the dirty air plays a big problem in the Formula Renaults because of how much air they displace and because of the wing setups that they've got, and pronounced around a track like Laguna Seca with so many fast turns and so demanding on the aero. A couple of different styles of driving here, and a couple of different options for setting the cars up. Some guys will have gone for a full aero setup. Other guys going for a half aero setup, trying to get a bit more speed through the faster sections, like up the hill and across the pit straight. As we see Tibbet going a little bit wide there, so that's not uncommon that we see the Formula Renault wanting to over-rotate on the exit of the corkscrew. A bit of an undulation on the elevation changes there, which tends to want to kick the back of the Formula Renault out. On board with Dirk Diggler now. Dirk Diggler managing to maintain 5th spot. So Dirk Diggler currently in 5th in our standings, so I think this is roughly about where we've come to expect to see Dirk Diggler in qualifying and in the race for this season, so just a little bit better than mid-pack. Dirk Diggler's had a good run in the Formula Renaults this season, not been without his own fair share of accidents, but has had some decent finishes and some decent qualifying results as well. So the white and orange Bandicon Namkai livery that he's on. So 5th place for Dirk at this stage, 18 seconds gap to the leader and a good 4 seconds gap to Rock G, which is the turquoise and silver Vazmac livery, the teammate livery from Bruce Law. Bruce Law currently our race leader, but currently being bested on lap time by TTV Giacomo. So TTV Giacomo is a new driver to our championship, only just joined us this week. He's a driver that we are familiar with from our Rubens racing days, but it's the first time I think he's raced in the Formula Renault Championship with Flux Motorsport. So it's great to see more drivers back in our open wheel division. A lot more traction being going in the background within the community for our open wheel division, so I would expect to see our open wheel championships returning for season 2. I would be very surprised if we don't have Formula Renault or IndyCar or some Formula Series action to bring to you. So a couple of seconds gap between Tyjo and Bruce Law now. So Bruce starting to open up that gap a little bit to the blue and white livery car of Tyjo behind him. Tyjo will be trying to take this top spot from Bruce, but Bruce knows all he's going to do is just finish this race without major incident. and he's got yet another championship title under his belt. That'll be 3-4-3 if Bruce can win the GT1 Formula Renault and the GT3 championship this evening. So this will be a good marker for his racing the GT3s a little bit later on. And an upset result here could see an upset result of the GT3s. And it looks like we've had a bit of an incident on track there. So Tibev jumping up into third place, and Giacomo, yes, it does look like he's picked up damage. So really unfortunate there for Giacomo. Had a great start to this race, but looks like he's that front wing damage there. It is front wing damage. He's lost his front wing on the Formula Renault, and as he gets out of the way there for Dirk Diggler to come through. So still observing track etiquette and good driving from Giacomo to pay attention to his mirrors there. We'll have to keep doing so because he does look like he's really struggling for pace. So potentially some engine damage there as we see Rock G also going past. So that's Rock G up to 5th spot. Rock G's had some mixed bag of results in the Formula Renault Championship. Again, capable lap times, but does look like he's been in the wars. Certainly towards the middle of our championship and picking up a few knocks there. So 5th place will be music to Rock G's ears. As we know, Rock and Dirk Diggler fighting for championship points as well as track position usually in our Formula Renault races. So 147 and 148 on the points respectively, as we see Jack coming into the pits there. A few seconds difference between Rock G and Dirk Diggler on track. 7 seconds in it, and not an awful lot in the term of fastest lap here between these two guys. So currently putting in 1:15s regularly through our race. So we could see these two here potentially closing that gap up with Rock and trying to rein Dirk Diggler in. Rock currently is in front in the standings, so if the race finishes with a 4th and 5th spot for Dirk and Rock in that order, then we could see Rock actually being overtaken by Dirk Diggler here. We just saw him coming through the corkscrew there in the aero playing a big effect there, and Rock, I think, one of the guys potentially running a little bit less aero. We saw the front of that Formula Renault lift. And as he comes across the timing line now, with a 1:15.0, so that is quicker than Dirk Diggler. And if he maintains that consistency with his lap times and the consistency with the difference in lap times, then we should see Rock catching up to Dirk Diggler by the end of this race. So try to take a look on board with Matt. So Matt now coming through the corkscrew section. So Matt already pitted, already dropped back a little bit behind this race to allow some of our other drivers through. Doesn't look like he's managing to get the most out of that Formula Renault, so potentially he's got some damage there. Is that Tibby coming up behind him? And does the honourable thing there and jumps out of the way for Tibby. So I think that is fast as just trying to see this race out here. But Tibby now up to 3rd spot. So again, we've seen this consistently with Tibby so far this season. And for the short period that he's been with us, he seems to just have this ability to be able to keep picking drivers off. He's prone to mistakes. It's not that he hasn't made any. It's not that he hasn't had any incidents, and it's not that he's put the quickest lap times on track out there in every race. But consistently, he is managing to finish races and finish them high up the order. So a pretty composed driver here that I think we've got in TB24. And if he manages to make this result stick as it is, another podium finish. So that'd be at least 2 out of 2 podium finishes for Tibby. And the fastest lap, I believe, in the GT1s. this week, so well done for that. So we'll go back over to our leaders now with Bruce and Tyjo. Coming into lap 11, so we're going to start looking at tyre changes to be considered by our drivers, if not actually starting to come in at the end of lap 11. So lap 11, lap 12 should be when we see the tyre degradation start to play a part in this race. We should start to see maybe one or two drivers start to have to back off, or the ones that don't potentially may be involved in incidents. So we'll keep an eye on the timing boards just to see if there's any big differences. The biggest difference there on our timing board, as we can see, is really Giacomo's time, so TTV Giacomo, and the big difference that we had in his 1:11 lap time, that 1:18, so 7 seconds that mistake cost him, unfortunately. But he is repaired, he is at the pits now. As we saw Tyjo closing up the back of Bruce Law there as he came out of turn 1. Because Will Constantina there, but Tyjo pulling in a little bit of time on Bruce Law, down to 1.5 seconds from 2 now. So Bruce potentially backing off, just trying to make those tyres last a little bit longer, try and save a pit stop. As we see Tibby come into the pits, so that is Tibby that's coming into the pits now. I don't think that's damage related, I think that is just a set of tyres, so come in for a tyre change there. So that's the first of the day so far. Pit number 1. Now I see Dirk Diggler come up to 3rd place and Rock up to 4th, so Dirk and Rock jumped through into 3rd and 4th place, but I believe Tibby was just about to leave the pits. So Tibby will come back out in 5th place ahead of Fast AF Gamer. That has allowed Dirk Diggler to move up to 3rd, so we'll keep an eye out for when Dirk Diggler and Rock start to take a pit stop here. But potentially if we can get 3rd and 4th place to run a little longer, use a little bit more of the tread on those tyres and not drop too much in lap times, we could see potentially changing the running order of this race, let alone the championship. As we see the characteristic lift there as that Formula Renault comes with a corkscrew. You can only imagine how scary that must be when the speed these cars are going, and all of a sudden you haven't got traction on one wheel. The amount of traction per wheel per corner on these cars is tremendous. So the feeling, the sensation of that must be quite something. So 1:14 for Dirk Diggler as he comes across the line. And a little bit of a gap starting to open up now between Dirk and Rock. Gap's increased to about 20 seconds. But it looks like Tibby's just managed to be challenging, so we'll try and come over that action. It does, it looks like Tibby's just gone round Rock as they come down pit straight. So, yep, so Rock's now in the pits, again tyre change, so Rock blinking first on that one. So not managing to make the extra use of tyres there, playing much to his advantage, but let's see what Dirk Diggler can do. As Fast AF Gamer comes in the pits now as well, so that's Fast AF Gamer coming in, and that will be damage repair for Fast AF Gamer, as well as a potential tyre change. As Dirk Diggler runs a little bit wide there on the corkscrew. 2 tyres on the kitty litter on the outside of that corner though. It will make the that tight left-hander a little bit more interesting and more difficult to stick. Again, wanting to understeer on that corner. But not too eventful though for Dirk, keeping it nice and steady. 1:15 as he comes across the line. So Tyjo 40 seconds in front, a bit of a gap, so Dirk will be just wanting to stay at this race. He will be conscious of the championship points and that battle with Rock G, and anything he can do to try and secure the additional points there to get in that leapfrog up the standings table. He will be trying to push for. Not plain sailing, not completely done deal for Dirk Diggler here. We do still have Tibby that will be wanting to come through. So depending when Dirk pits, we could see these two coming out for a battle on track. 15 seconds the gap between Dirk and Tibbet at this stage, so Dirk's going to have to put in a few more laps, increase race pace, try and see that gap increase a little bit. As he runs a little bit wide there. So Tibbet will be aware of him trying to make mistakes. He will be taking a look at the gap between himself and Dirk in front, and he will have just seen that come down just a little bit, so that'll put the wind up his sails. The bit between his teeth now, he'll be trying to push it and trying to close the counter back of Dirk Diggler. So they're on the 15-second mark, so we'll stay up to date with the that battle for third place though. But Bruce Law, what a great start from Bruce Law. A little bit of a bog down, so that's been a bit of an issue for Matthew this season. Class 8 game struggling with the starts, not just in the Formula Renaults, but I know with the BMW M6 that he drives in GT3s, also a bit of an issue with getting that thing off the line. So maybe something that Fast House could work on it in the off season is spend a little bit of time with his pit crew, with his race engineer, just trying to improve those race starts and get the best out of traction at the vehicle. Once he does get going, momentum seems to be good, lap times seem to be good, so it'd be interesting to see what his lap times look at. Now he's got some repairs done to that car, and much quicker through turn 3 there, or turn 4 as it is. So it looks like all the damage has been repaired to his car there, so Fast Air will be looking to try and make places back, but that's a considerable difference that he's got to the rest of the pack now, between first and fifth place. So almost a couple of minutes difference. So damage limitation for Fast AF Gamer here. However, that said, 7th place, given the fact that we've had 1 or 2 absences from this race, we'll still see him pick up a considerable amount of points. It shouldn't make a big difference to our current standings if Fast AF does finish in 7th place. Our closest person to Matthew is Tyjo with 177 points, so a difference of 6 spots on the grid isn't enough, I don't think, for Tyjo to try and clinch 2nd place in the championship. But that does depend on any penalties applied to the drivers, so if there are any rule infractions that are deemed to be severe enough for points to be applied, or time penalties to be applied, they could take an effect after the race. So no further pit stops at this stage. We've got 25 minutes, just under 25 minutes remaining in this session. So coming up to the halfway stage. So I'm currently on lap 18. So potentially a few more laps than we initially thought. Probably up to around the 36-37 lap mark, round about that region. But pit stops, again, a couple of pit stops could well be in order. I think they're going to be certainly running more than 1 pit stop, so I'd suspect 2, potentially 3 from some of the drivers, 4 if they are really struggling with the tyre wear. But that's going to be a pit stop roughly every 7 laps or 8 laps, so I think that's a little bit too much for most drivers, so 3 I would expect to see. Tibbet's last lap that we see running around here is a 1:21.7, but we expect that to come down after this lap. So struggling for traction there on the exit of the last turn. Didn't affect him too much. So 1:14. Currently putting in similar lap times as Dirk Diggler. Yep, so we'll be closing down to Dirk Diggler. slowly but surely with a 0.7 difference. So again, we'll see that gap close up before the end of this race, but I do expect Dirt Diggler's going to want to come in and take a pit stop at some point. Just take a little look at TTV Giacomo qualified very well at the start of this race, got a great start, battling up for third pit position, and unfortunately Formula 1 got the best of him and he managed to lose that front wing. But since he's come out, lap times have dropped a little bit, so maybe that spin's put a little bit of nervousness into Giacomo's approach to this race. I think he's backed off just a little bit though, just to try and potentially save that spin and save any further damage to the car. He won't want to have to come in the pits again, and he's that Matt in front, so I think that is Matt in front. Matt just getting out of the way there, picking up a lot of gravel on the tyres by doing so. Hopefully it won't make too much of an issue for that car. Lots of gravel getting kicked up there, potentially flicked into the engine, so that could cause further technical issues, but hopefully get away with that, and it's just extra tyre degradation. So 116 last time for Giacomo. Let's see if he can put an improvement on this lap. Yep, 114, so that's a much more like what we expected to see for Giacomo. So back up to race pace as we see Bruce Law coming in the pits. So that is the first time that we've seen Bruce Law come in the pits. He's got a 27 second gap to the car behind him, so that was Dirt Diggler that he was coming past there, but I believe that was Dirt Diggler just unlapping himself, so Bruce Law already setting the precedent for overtaking back markers. Potentially that might have been fuel as well, and he's out, so delayed in the box there by Matthew coming in. So he won't be happy about that, he'll be shaking his fist at Matthew for that. Not a lot really that Bruce can do about that. You've just got to wait for the car to come in the box. So he's back out on track now. But yeah, so Rock G and Fast As Game would just come into the pits there. Rock G doesn't look like damage. I think it'll just be tyres and fuel as the paddle goes up there from his pit crew. But he's still held in that pit box, so maybe there's a little bit of damage, potentially engine damage there. We'll come back to him with Rock and see when he comes out that pit. So 20 minutes left in our session here if you just joined us for our Formula Renault Championship. It is the final round of our championship, and currently we have got Bruce Law in the lead, Taggio in second place, Dirk Diggler in third, FR3.5 that we're currently on board with in fourth place, TTV Giacomo fifth, Rock G in sixth, and Fast As Gamer in seventh place as Dirk Diggler comes into the pits. So we'll probably see Timmy come past Dirt Diggler now as he comes around the fast corner. And Rock in the pits that we see there, and Matthew in the pits. And he overtakes Dirt Diggler for third spot. So that's, yep, another podium finish it looks like at this stage for Tibev. Minus any upsets that we might see. I think that is this Bruce Law that's just coming up behind him. It is indeed so. TB will be, albeit in third place, as Taggio runs exceptionally wide there. Almost loses the car though, but yeah, TB will be under blue flag conditions here. So the responsibility is on the overtaking driver to go round the blue flag driver. The blue flag driver doesn't have to completely get out of the way, take his foot off and brake. He is expected to move over to the track wherever it's safe, and I think that is Tibby just going in the pits. It is, so Tibby opting for going in the pits rather than moving over, come in and get his tyres changed. So I think that could be the second pit stop for Tibby, so Tibby potentially going for the 3-stop strategy here. So we'll go back over to first and second place. So this will be interesting as Matt joins as fast as joins now behind Bruce and Tyjo on fresh tyres with no damage to that car. So, albeit not for track position, we could see Matthew getting involved in some of the action here. So stick on board with Tyjo just to see whether we can close that gap up to Bruce Law. 1.8 seconds currently the gap. And a similar around 2 second gap to between Tyjo and Tibby. Sorry, between Tyjo and Fast Air's Gamer, but it looks like Tibby's just gone past Dirk Diggler in the pits, so potentially, is that a mistake there from Dirk Diggler? No, so he's definitely well within the striking distance of Tibby there, so Dirk Diggler racing really well, managing to get himself back up there. That extra push with the tyres has seemed to see him close that gap, but remember Tibby is on fresh tyres. And we'll be feeling the effects of the dirty air behind Tibby's Formula Renault, but not choosing to come in this time. Sticks it for another lap. So, and as we go back to Tyjo with Matthew now making life difficult for him. And Matthew will be conscious, taking a look. They wanted to go up the inside, but thinking better of it. So Fast Air Gamer not allowed really to start upsetting the order of this race, and with only a 2 second gap between Tyjo and Bruce Law, we'll know that he can't get involved in between these two drivers and slow Tyjo down at all. As he goes a little bit over rotating there on the edge of the corkscrew again. Like I said, a common feature that though. Difficult to try and get the car to behave when she's not in full contact with the floor, and then you're obviously trying to get power down at the same time as well, so that can cause a bit of a recipe for disaster at times, but not too bad there for Matthew. Didn't pick up any damage, just a bit of a kick at the back end as he came through. But I think that battle with Matthew behind him, just to consciously having a car in your mirrors, tends to make you want to go for a different line, and that is allowing Bruce to get a bit of a gap behind in front of him now, and that is a mistake for Tyjo. So potentially mirror driving there, and the pressure from Matthew on fresh tyres behind him, just getting the better of it. I think the right option probably was just to let Fast Ass Gamer through there, and let the increased pace that he has got shine through there. It's not going to be for race pace, it's not going to make any difference. So the correct option probably just is to let him through there. So Tyjo still in second place. 3.8 second gap to Bruce Law. 15 minutes left in our session, 25 laps gone here at Laguna Seca. So again, if you are just joining us, or if you are new to our streams, then please do hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, and hit the notification, or the bell notification symbol, so you get notified about all our wonderful videos when they do come out. Tuning setups is something we've started to do, so we've got a plethora of tuning setups on our YouTube channel. Please do take a look at those. They're absolutely free for everybody to use, so feel free to help yourself, and hopefully they might make you a couple of seconds quicker on that. If that's the type of thing that you like, and you do like our championship racing, don't hesitate to head on over to FluxMotorsport.com and hit the driver sign up button. That'll take you through to our Discord server, and that's where you can get involved in all our action and get involved within our championship races. As I said a little earlier, we have got our special events coming up. So our special events tend to be a full community event with prizes at the end, so for our fastest drivers or for our winners, depending on the competition. And details about that competition will be announced very soon, so watch this space, stay with us. Potentially we might have some more details by the end of our GT3 race this evening, but certainly any day now we'll be getting an update about our special event and what that entails. So Flux Motorsport, if you weren't aware, is a non-profit organisation. We do this for the love of racing and to try and support grassroots racing and sim racing in general. So if you do like what we do and you do appreciate it, don't hesitate to head over to the website, scroll down, find the buy of the coffee section, and anything that you do donate to us goes straight back into the community to try and make things better for our drivers. So 13 minutes to go left on session, lap 27, and we're on board with Bruce Law here. Bruce Law, again, a wonderful drive from Bruce Law so far, great start off the grid, jumped up from second place, and has maintained first place throughout as Matt goes round again there, so not far out of position there, but Matt sticking with Bruce Law potentially, closing that gap up there but pushing a little bit too hard, so that's seen Fast As Game pick up further damage, and I think it was the front wing that we saw coming off there, and Bruce Law hasn't even flinched, hasn't even noticed. I think that's just a testament to Bruce's capability, picking up a reputation for being a bit of an android when it comes to how consistent that he can be and the little amount of mistakes that he makes. So that will have allowed Tyjo to come through past Fast AF Gamer again, not off the track position, but it's never nice for a driver to be overtaken. I know from driving myself, I hate to be overtaken, whether it's track position or otherwise. I hate a driver coming past me. So Tyjo will take some solace in the fact that he's gone back around Matthew again. That'll be good news. And it looks like TTV Giacomo's coming to the pits now. So that's TTV Giacomo. Was up in third at one point during this race, but taking another pit stop now. I think that again could be damage related. And that's Rock G that's gone running, so Rock G back up to fifth spot now. Not currently challenging Dirk Diggler for fourth spot, but Dirk Diggler running a pit stop less than most people. I think he's level on pit stops with Bruce Law, but they've only taken one apiece so far at this stage. TTV Giacomo out the pits now, rejoining the circuit, but Fast AF Gamer still in the pits there. So a pretty heavy knock again from Fast AF. Really unfortunate, because we know what his lap times are capable of. 109.8 was his last lap before he spun. Well, 10 minutes left in session. Just take a look at Tibby, our unmistakable yellow livery driver. Tibby again, third place so far. Really good points being made up here. Not the best start to the race necessarily, but a characteristic trait of Tibby is picking drivers off, and he's done exactly the same again today here. So a good solid drive from Tibby, shaping up to be a really consistent driver in our championship. So watch this space and watch for Tibby EV24 on Flux Motorsport streams next season. I suspect we'll see him winning one or two races. Rock G in the luminous yellow, tipped and wing mirrored car of the Basmac livery car there. So again, similar teammates to Bruce Law, not quite the same lap time with Bruce Law, but certainly not a bad teammate to be able to try and pick up pointers for. I certainly wouldn't mind being sat with Bruce Law in my garage as my teammate. So if Rock comes into this corkscrew section, we've not seen too many lockups into the corkscrew section, so the guy's not really getting it too badly wrong into the entrance of the trickiest section, the just notoriously trickiest section of this track. Has been more on the exit of that corner, or the exit of most corners, so tends the understeer just starting to creep in to the Formula Renaults as they go through this race. And speaking of Bruce Law, I think that's Bruce Law that we see coming up behind him, so Bruce Law will be coming to lap Rock G at this stage, so Rock G will be under blue flags, but never an issue for getting out of the way for the teammate, and he will be under team orders anyway. So we'll just try and bring you the fastest lap so far in our session. We can just get the timing board up, thank you for that. So the timing board currently sees Fast AF Gamer by far and wide the quickest person during this race, but certainly not in the last lap. Next to that we've got Tyjo with a 1 minute 10, and followed up by Bruce Law. So Tajo putting in really quick laps during this race as well as fast AF Gamer, but consistency showing exactly why it's more important and exactly how important it can be. A couple of seconds difference there between Bruce Law and fast AF Gamer, but the difference in 2 spins is huge. So that's Tajo just coming up to the back of Rock G there. Rock G just taking an inside line there, allowing Tajo to try and get the run, not trying to lose too much pace there. So a nice slow overtake there from Tajo. So 1:13 now, last lap time just there being put from Giacomo as he comes across the timing line. So not a million miles behind these guys in terms of track position, but is a little way behind the guys in front in terms of the actual race time. So Roxy's closest rival, 4-second gap to Rocky in front, so it's not undoable. And Giacomo can actually put some quick laps in here. I think 1:09 was the quickest that we've seen from Giacomo in the qualifying session. So know that he is capable, know that he can close that gap up. 6 minutes left in the session, so that is doable. And is that Dirk Diggler that we've just seen jump into 3rd place? Tibby dropped to 4th, so is that an accident there from Tibby? It is indeed. Tibby's lost his front wing, so I believe that's coming round turn 1, potentially over rotation there. If it had been on the last corner, I suspect he may well have come in for pits. So that it does look like he's lost it on the first corner, but Tibby there, again, like I said, not unfamiliar to the odd mistake, but certainly not common practice, as he's taking out the braking boards there, trying to stay out of the way. Restart might have something to say about that. That's going to affect people's ability to try and break into that corner. There's only 5 minutes left of the session here, but the guys do have to watch mistakes like that. And this is Rock G coming round now. I think this is Rock G potentially going to go past Tibby as well. And Tajo coming up in behind Tibby at the same time. So these guys are all going to go past, but I think Rock G is a lap behind Tibby, so this potentially won't be fast track position. There we go. No, so that's not made a difference to the standings today in this race, but potentially could do if Tibby can't get that back to the pit. So like we said, Giacomo now on the back of Rock G, so Giacomo closing that gap up pretty fast. And he'll be trying to make a move down the inside. Careful on lock up here into the last turn, which he manages to avoid. But does have to take his foot off there to try and avoid getting into the back of Rock G on the exit of that turn under acceleration. So, and Tibby in the pit. So as we expected, Rock G trying to take a wide line there and come to the cutback, but thinking better of it, and Giacomo just getting a little bit a loss of grip there with on the exit of that corner, so losing traction. Both side by side here still as they come through this right-hander. Again, quickest right-hander on the course. Giacomo managing to make it stick though, so great move there from Giacomo. Managing to make that stick around the outside. That tendency to want to get the car to understeer on that corner is horrible, so well done there from Giacomo to make that move stick. So Giacomo up to 5th place. Not been an easy race here for Giacomo after a great start. But we'll be looking to try and secure at least 5th spot. If not, if he can grab 4th from Tibby, so that mistake there from Tibby could really cost him, depending on the amount of damage that he's got. He's still in the pits now as Jack and Rock come round the final turn. And we don't see any movement from the pit lane there as these guys go past. So looks like he's a bit of a sitting duck there, unfortunately, Tibby. Apologies, so it doesn't look like there's been a change in track position. Tibby still in the pits though. And still getting damages repaired to that car, and that's Fast AF Gamer coming into the pits that we saw there, just going through again. So it looks like further damage for Fast AF. A torrid race for him today. Only 3 minutes left in session. Bruce Law currently leading this race, followed by Tyjo with an 18-second gap, and then a considerable gap between second and third place of almost 2 minutes, so just under about a minute and a half, just under 2 minutes. But Bruce and Tyjo making light work of the rest of this field here as Tyjo comes around that last corner for what I believe will be lap 36 of his race. So again, 37 to 38 laps we're expecting here. I think that is TTV Giacomo just behind him. So a couple of guys that we've lost from this race. CMC seems to have been lost this race. So maybe one or two dropouts here could affect the standings, but don't expect too much in the terms of track position change at this stage. Not too many close battles on track, so it could well finish up as we see here, unless there are any further accidents in the last couple of minutes of this race. And we'll see if we can go on board with Bruce Law for our customary ride along as he takes what potentially might be the penultimate lap of his race. So Bruce Law coming up there behind Tibby, and Tibby on the blue flag conditions, just getting out of the way. So a little let off there from Bruce Law. Looks like he is trying to conserve tyres there and conserve the engine in that car, maintaining a good amount of speed through that corner. So around the 200km/h mark, and sticking in fourth gear for the kink left-hander up the hill into the corkscrew, down to second gear, and watching for the over rotation on the exit. A little lift off to stop the understeer into that left-hander, down to fourth for the right-hander, and second for the final corner, and down to first actually from Bruce Law. So trying to get the traction there. So a 1 minute 10 lap time there from Bruce, so not by any standards a slow lap. So lap 38 we see Bruce coming into now, and potentially his final lap, as we'll try and bring the splits and get the trackside camera back up for you. There we go. So 26-second gap between Bruce Law and Tyjo, and ever growing. So a comfortable win for Bruce today, and if it remains like this as he comes through the last lap. Got a good solid drive from the guy behind him, from Tyjo. Tyjo managing to maintain the closest gap to Bruce. Again on lap 38, so the only other chap on track that's put a 38 lap race in. The rest of the guys will be coming in at a 36, 37 lap, I think. Our fastest lap today was currently set by Fast AF Gamer with a 1:08.9. That's not been beat by anybody since this stage. And that is Bruce coming across for his win of round 8 of the Formula Renault Championship. So well done, Bruce. Another great win from Bruce Law. As Tyjo comes into the penultimate corner now, this right-hander, fast right-hander in fourth gear. I think that is TTV Giacomo that's just putting in some quick laps behind him there. And Tyjo just slowing down, just give it a bit of showboating as he comes across the line. He will have to watch for that and make sure that he does finish in front of Dirk Diggler though. But Tyjo there just giving a little bit for the fans. Well, Dirk Diggler will come in third spot. So that is Dirk Diggler with a third place finish. I believe that might be his best race finish this season. So well done to Dirk Diggler for that. And Tibby, unfortunately for Tibby, managed to only get fourth place from a great drive from Tibby. But an unfortunate mistake, what looked like coming into turn 1. TTV Giacomo looks like he's got fifth spot. Rock G coming up in sixth spot. and Fast AF Gamer with probably the worst race I've seen him have this season. Really unfortunate for Fast AF though. So CMC, our disconnection there, didn't manage to make the race, and Matt unfortunately with the DNF. So that was our finale of our Formula Renault Championship. It's been an absolutely great championship to commentate on, and even better championship to watch. I know the drivers really enjoyed it, and I've certainly really enjoyed it. And speaking on behalf of Murphy as well, who's struggling to commentate with us today, I know it's been one of his favourite championships this season. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us. Your standings for the championship will be posted shortly, but as we expected, I think that he sees Bruce Law crowned yet another championship winner at Flux Motorsport. So do join us for our GT3 race later on this evening, 8 PM UK time, for all that action. But from me and from everybody else here at Flux Motorsport, it's been lovely having you, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks very much, guys. Bye now.